You're listening to From a Certain Point Askew, the only Star Wars podcast in the galaxy far, far away that's bold enough to exclusively reveal the juicy details of Asajj Ventress's triumphant return to anyone who places an order for a Royal Blurg burger with cheese. Before Dad Batch Season 3 wraps up, that is. That's right, for less than a quarter the cost of a crate steak at Dex's Diner, you'll gain insider knowledge that would make even the most seasoned Jedi Master green with envy. We're talking secrets so shocking they'd make a Rancor blush and a Sarlacc spit. So grab your comlink, hop into your X-Wing, and make the jump to hyperspace, because you won't want to miss a single parsec of this exclusive offer. It's time to get ready for the most mind-blowing Star Wars revelation since the identity of Luke's father was revealed.
Wait.
Remember, this is the way to From a Certain Point Askew. God damn, I gotta write shorter ones. I'm the long-winded one of the hosts of this show, Jason the Angry Ginger Jedi Guy, broadcasting inside the Wookiee Studios. Not alone, the man, the myth, the legend that lives in Portland, back from Florida. We're going to talk about it. Darth Mathias.
It's a long flight. It's a long flight.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's real long. Yeah, so a couple things. One, I think Jason the Long-Winded would be a great name for you back in medieval times.
Yeah. It's my bard name.
Yes, we were off last week. I went to Florida, so first time I'd ever been there.
Oh, really?
Yep, never been to Florida. You know, it is pretty far away. And we got one of those Disney places a lot closer.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We didn't just go there for Disney, but flew into Orlando, went to Disney World, and it is quite a different setup than Disneyland. That is for sure. It was a little bit of, it's a lot more spread out.
Right.
And so all those worlds, I didn't plan on going to Epcot Center, but I ended up going there because we got a park hopper. So it was like,
okay. And
it's in between a couple of them. So you're like, well, we might as well just get off here and check it out a little bit, you know?
Did you go to Magic Kingdom?
Went to Magic Kingdom.
All right.
Went to Hollywood Studios.
Yeah.
And went to Epcot. Did not go to the Animal Kingdom and did not go to whatever the fifth one is. I don't even know what it is. Was it the water park or some shit? I don't know.
Typhoon Lagoon?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a lot of fun. It was great. You know, the last time I went to Disneyland, they were like, you know what? We're going to shut the whole world down right after this. Because a week after we were there.
Really?
Yeah. A week after we were there, they closed the park.
Damn.
So we just barely got in. So it was cool to go see it again. I mean, it's always great to go to Galaxy's Edge. We went there first because it's in Hollywood Studios.
Right.
And so we went there, that's one of the annoying. I'll get into the whole Disneyland versus Disney World thing here in just a second because I got a few thoughts there. But one of the nice things about Disneyland is Galaxy's Edge is in Disneyland proper. So you don't have to go to another park to get to it, which is kind of nice. So we started in Hollywood Studios, went to their first, Galaxy's Edge.
Wait, are you saying you need a separate pass from Hollywood Studios into Galaxy's Edge?
I'm saying if you want to go to the Magic Kingdom and you want to go to Galaxy's Edge in Florida,
okay,
you have to have a park hopper.
Yes.
In Disneyland, it's in the same park. Major, yeah.
Yeah.
So in Disneyland, they have the two parks. They've got California Adventure and Disneyland, and they're next to each other. They literally share an entrance. So you just walk from one to the other. Very convenient. Disney World, not so much.
No, it's sprawled out.
Also, and we'll get back to Galaxy's Edge in a second, some of the rides in Disney World, disappointingly not as good as the Disneyland rides. Have you been to Disneyland before?
No, I've never been out to California.
You got to do that, first of all.
Really? I've heard that Disneyland is like half the size of Magic Kingdom, and it's just as packed.
Well, when we were there, we went at the beginning of March, so it was better because it wasn't quite spring break. We were there pretty much the first kind of spring breakish week for Disney World, so it was definitely crowded. And the thing with Disneyland is, so like for instance, we went on Pirates of the Caribbean at Disney World, and we get done and we're like, the fuck was that?
Really?
Not even close to as good as the Disneyland ride. The Disneyland ride, you go down two big drops with the water.
Oh yeah, it's only one at Disney World.
And then it goes on for much longer. Like all of a sudden the ride was letting out. I was like, what the fuck's going on here? What was the other one that was disappointing? There were a couple that were like that. And there's some different rides. I mean, you've got like Tron, which we didn't actually get a chance to go on because the line was too huge. They have Tron at Disney World. We couldn't go on that. But you have like the Matterhorn at Disneyland. So there's some differences of stuff. But overall, it was just kind of like, I don't know. I felt like Disneyland's better than Disney World. That's my opinion. I'm not saying everybody would agree with that, but that's how I came away from it.
Okay. All right.
As far as the Galaxy's Edge stuff, it's all basically the same. We went on Smuggler's Run again. That was cool. Get inside the Falcon. We went on the Rise of Resistance again, which is always great because I love how just assholes they are when you're standing in line waiting to go in the second part of the ride. They're just purposely dicks to you, you know?
Oh, because it's the Empire or whatever.
Yes. So you
Okay.
walk in and they're like telling you where to line up and just scoffing at everything you do. And this one gal goes to the line next to us and goes, "Your single file line is atrocious. Fix it." I love the attitude. We had one of those idiots on our Rise of the Resistance ride who, when you get in, I don't want to give too much away. When you get in the room where you're being addressed by Hux and Kylo Ren, he's like, it'd be nice if you asked nicely. If you said please, that goes a long way. I'm like, dude, we're not here to watch you. So stop chiming in.
So like a patron that's with your group is yelling at the screen.
Correct.
Oh God.
Shut the fuck up. This is not your ride. I'm here to watch them put on the show, not you. It's very reminiscent of a heckler at a comedy show. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, gonna say. Okay.
So, but it was still fun. It was good to go on that. And we went to, the Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities, the Ithorian. So got to go in there.
You shared the picture of that on Twitter. Okay.
Yes. And the Wilro Hood, Camtino.
Did you get one?
No, God, they're fucking expensive. I can't remember how much
they?
I can't remember, but they were not cheap. And that's a tough thing to tote around. We had a lot of other places to go in Florida and then fly home. It was going to be tough to take that one home, but it was kind of funny. At one shop, they even had the little comm link that like they're using on the Death Star in A New Hope.
Yeah.
It was like $40 for one of them. I was like, I don't think it's.
Is it just basically a walkie-talkie, or is it like a Bluetooth mic that hooks to your phone and you can use it?
Ooh, good question. I don't know if it hooks to your phone. I think it's more meant to be just a walkie-talkie.
Okay.
So I'm like, so do you have to buy two of them? It's $80. I think you do. Yeah,
they gotcha.
Fuckers. They do a good job of it. The only thing we ended up really buying, we did go to the cantina, by the way. So it's always fun to go to the cantina. But the only thing we ended up buying was a deck of Sabacc cards. Because they were like, hey, do you guys want to learn how to play Sabacc? And we're like, sure. So they came and played. I still don't quite understand it, but we bought a deck of cards.
Now, when it was the Galactic Star Cruiser, you could go and they would teach you. There was like a class. Do they have that in Galaxy's Edge anywhere that teaches you how to play Sabacc, or where you could play it somewhere?
Well, they were just doing it on the street where they were selling it. They're like, here, we'll just get the cards out. We're going to play a game right now. So it was kind of more like that.
Okay.
I don't know if there was an actual class you could go to, but yeah. But it was just cool. It's always cool to be in that environment. It's you still get kind of awed by everything you're seeing and how much it puts you in that space. So it was great to go again.
It's the same. I imagine it's got to be the same thing, the Galaxy Edge, but one part to the other. But is it bigger because they've got more room?
I don't think so. I think it feels about the same size. Galaxy's Edge, at least.
Right.
Yeah. The Magic Kingdom definitely feels bigger, but than the rest of Disneyland. But no, I thought Galaxy's Edge was about the same size because, like I said, there were times where we were going one place, we were going to go to something else, and I'm like, well, if it's like Disneyland, it's going to be like right through there and over the. And sure enough, it's the same exact layout.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what was I saw on Twitter the other day? Something happens at the park next week, like the week after you were going to be there.
So frustrated. I think I might have mentioned this on the show last week or whatever, but they're starting April 5th. So I guess what is that, next Friday? They are starting like it's like a month long, or maybe even 2 months long, or maybe it's just a month, where they're doing all the Star Wars stuff. So like Space Mountain becomes Hyperspace Mountain, and it's all Star Wars themed, which would be the whole park does. Sweet. So I don't know if it's the whole park or specific things that are tied
in
to
the park,
space.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Star Tours has all new worlds, shows Andor.
Yeah,
stuff,
that's what it is. Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of that coming. There's some Ahsoka stuff that you would see because we did do Star Tours again. Star Tours is kind of fun. It's stuff like that. So there's a whole bunch of activities. So we missed it by 2 weeks. This is very reminiscent of my youth because we always used to go to Star Wars or to Disneyland before they would reveal new rides and open new rides. We'd always miss it.
Miss it.
Yeah. But at least the lines were short. That's one last gripe. And this is not a Disneyland versus Disney World thing. This is a Disney park thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know why the fuck they got rid of the Fast Pass system because that was golden. And now they've got this new Genie Plus system and shit with lightning lanes. It fucking sucks. I don't like it.
Well, it isn't the same thing. It's just you pay for it. It's got like a different pay scale.
Well, unless I'm remembering it correctly, the Fast Pass, you could queue up a couple rides. Now it's like you got to do your one ride before you can book anything else. And I think it's kind of limiting on how many you can use. And yes, they're always trying to upsell you. It's like a goddamn video game for kids. They always want to upsell you on stuff.
Yeah.
So be like, well, if you want to go on, Space Mountain, you can pay $20 per person and you can go on, and get in the lightning lane. Yeah. And it's like, come on, man. We're already paying a fortune to be here.
Right. Yeah.
But the one thing that worked out for us well with Space Mountain, because only me and my older son wanted to go on it, we're walking through the main part of the kingdom, and all these people are lining up for the parade. I mean, it is butts to nuts, people.
That's the time to go on the rides.
And we fucking went to Space Mountain. We walked all the way through, didn't have a lightning pass, all the way through, literally got up to the point where we walked, never stopped walking, walked up, and the guy goes, "You're in lane 4." Boom.
Yep.
On the ride in like 90 seconds.
Yep.
It was fucking
we've
great.
done that quite a few times. Usually that's how we get on the newer stuff is when we
That's
go
the
there.
way to
Because I
go.
know everyone wants to watch the parades. I'm like, why?
Who
so every
cares?
time at any park, man, I always look to find out when the parades are, and then I'm like, we'll go on the ride then because you won't wait in line.
Absolutely. I didn't think about it until we did it, because then my younger son was saying after we got off the ride, he said after you came out, I watched the line sign, because I always tell you the minutes, and the standby line went to like 60 minutes like that.
Oh, wow.
Because everybody just bolts back to
it, yeah. Yeah, when we were there a few years back, and me and my kids, it was when I went down there with just the kids, I took them down there. So, God, this must have been 6-7 years ago now. But we were down there, and when the parade started, I think it was during the parade, we hit Hollywood Tower of Terror.
Yeah.
And we were in there about the time the parade was starting. So we walked through the line. It took us about 15 minutes to get on. But then we came out as the parade was going, and we ran around through the line, got back out. We did it 4 times. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we did the
crazy.
we did the Tower of Terror. That was kind of fun. Was it a Twilight Zone theme then as well?
Yep.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. And so yeah, it was. I felt like it was a combination of being there a couple weeks later makes a big difference because of the spring break factor,
Right?
And also I just didn't like that new system. It just seemed like you could line up your day a lot easier with the Fast Pass system.
Did you eat at Galaxy's Edge?
What did we eat? Not really, because not at Galaxy's Edge. We ate at Galaxy's Edge in Disneyland, and it was okay. It was kind of like none of the food was great, in my opinion. And then when we were at Magic Kingdom, we, a couple little snacky things, but I barely ate. I just kind of was motoring around, going to rides and stuff.
Okay.
I've found that the food in the parks isn't really very good.
No.
In general.
Not unless you go to like one of the like restaurants that's actually known for making good food, but any of the burger joints or any of the little stands or whatever, they're all shit. It's all the same shit.
It is. And in Disneyland, we went to like Pizza Planet. I mean, it's basically like fucking high school cafeteria food. It's not good.
No.
So it's funny because we met this guy who worked at the Disney World when we were going back over to Epcot. And he was like, so in the Magic Kingdom has great food. And he's telling us all these places to go. We're like, sure. Probably not. Anyway, but it was fun. We were only there one day. So we tried to cram it as much as we could in that one day. And yeah, it was an exhausting day. I think we were at the park for like 12 or 13 hours, something like that. Between
all of them, because like you start at Hollywood Studios and then end at Magic Kingdom because they're open the latest, right?
Yeah, so we actually went back. We finished at Hollywood Studios. So I guess we were only there 12 hours. We went from Hollywood Studios and then took the tram thing up to Kingdom, went back through Epcot, and then went back to Hollywood Studios to finish. So we did the Tower of Terror like late.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it was fun though. Good trip, fun trip. Exhausting. Happy to be home.
Yeah. That's crazy. You went all the way out there, only did one day. I've done one day, but I've been there so many times.
Well, I mean, we like I said, we had been to Disneyland 4 years prior. The only reason we were flying into Orlando really was because the tickets just worked out better to do it that way. So we just thought, we'll fly in there and we'll do a day at Disney World and then we'll move on. So we did that and we moved on. We went down to Fort Lauderdale and then went to like West Palm Beach to hang out with some family and stuff. So we were kind of bouncing all over the place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway.
Cool.
Hey, by the way, we're a Star Wars show. We talk about we talk about the latest and greatest Star Wars news and shows and all that stuff. If you want to find our website from acertainpointofskew.com, you can find us on Twitter at FACPA Pod, and you can email us facpapod@gmail.com. We are doing a giveaway during this Bad Batch Season 3. You can win some cool old retro Kenner figures that are actually literally bought in the 80s. Yep. So you'll have a chance to win those if you do things like answer our question of the week, which we'll get to in a minute. Send us some Maul Bag emails, send us a FACPA Answering Machine voicemail, write a review of the show, all that kind of stuff gets you an entry into our giveaway.
We hope you win the Palpatine.
Yeah, or the prune face, as they called him.
Yeah. On the show today, besides me drinking an Oberon, they're out now.
Nice.
Yeah. Question of the week. Did I win? We got the news, Star Wars Marathon, the Acolyte trailer we'll be discussing, and then 2 episodes of the Bad Batch. Episode 8, Bad Territory, and 9, the Harbinger. Maul Bag, we have 2 emails and a voicemail.
You're out of practice. It's understandable.
Yep, that's what it is.
Question of the week. So I said it's been a minute since we've seen him, but what will Cobb Vanth's first words be when he comes out of the Bacta tank? I think I
need
wrote
some
back to
gum.
tank on my notes. Yeah, I need some gum is right. Lister mint.
Yep.
So got a handful of answers here. There's a GIF that was sent over by Ash Rendar said, and it's him saying, if you wanted to get hit in the front, you should have run toward me. Is this from that show?
Raylan. Yeah, it's Justified.
Justified, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to say disjointed. That's not it.
Disjointed.
Justified. I need to watch that show. I've only heard good things.
Oh,
Never
it's
have
great.
watched it.
Well,
Yeah.
I've never finished it, but I think I've seen the first 2 seasons or almost the first 2 seasons.
Is it like 4, 3 or 4?
4 or 5, I believe.
Oh,
and
wow,
then there was
okay.
a new season that came out last year,
shit,
Primeval.
all right.
Primeval, I think, yeah.
I got to get on that. See, always behind. Hyperspace Heroes podcast says that's a mighty fine sandworm you got there.
Yeah.
Records of the Republic, Wade, says, after the Sarlacc's son kidnaps Boba Fett for killing his dad, Fennec comes to wake Vanth. As he exits the back to bed, he exclaims, no Sarlacc too big, nor Jawa too small. Cobb Vanth could vape them all. Unless their name's Cad Bane. Speaking of those two, by the way, I think Wade is currently recording with Hyperspace Heroes right now, so you should go check that episode out next.
Check them out. And also, like, Wade has taken over for Mike, I think. He's all over.
Wouldn't you say that's Max, though, Rebo?
Yeah.
I think Wade is in there, but I think
Yes.
Max Rebo is really the one.
That's true. Yeah.
He's the predominant.
Yeah, and I think Mike got sick of us being mean to him, so he just left. Or he created Max Rebo.
That's possible. I'm wondering what, because I don't hear much from Mike. Here and
Right.
there, little snippets, but not a whole lot.
Where you at, Layborn?
I think he must be busy. We're looking for you, Layborn, like we're standing outside his house. Layborn, get out here. Oh, let's see. Brian Hour says, I want Burger King. That's just you, Brian. You're saying.
I think so.
Elise Scott says, what happened? Where am I? Is Freetown all right? Damn spice trading aliens got me good. Freetown, that's right. I always think of it's most Pelgo, but it's Freetown they call it.
Changed the name, right?
Changed the name, yeah.
Yeah, it's Freetown now. Get it right.
Yeah, no kidding. DJ Foster says, where's Tanty? Is he safe? Is he all right? Do you remember Tanty, the Weequay bartender guy?
Yes, that's okay. Yep.
He
His
didn't
buddy.
get killed, right? He was fine. He was inside, right?
Correct.
I think he's okay.
Yeah. But, he doesn't know what happened after he got shot. Maybe Cad Bane went on a fucking killing spree.
It's true.
Just double checking. Got to make sure everyone's there. Why isn't he by his side? He should be right by the back of the tank, telling him stories, pouring spotchka for him, waiting for him to wake up.
Maybe the, what was the guy's name? The guy who fixes them all up, and the handler, the mechanic. No. What was his name? The modulator, the modifier.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Now I lost it. You said the modulator. The Mod King, or what do they call him?
The Mod King is a good name.
That's what we're going for.
Maybe he's like, nobody in here.
That's true.
Just me and the patient, right?
Yep.
Maybe that's what it is. Well, the Delphi Rangers, NRSF, says, someone called Carson Teva. I need to file a report about a blue guy with no nose. And speak of the devil, Max Rebo Experience says, not sure what his first words will be, but I do know his first action will be to look in a mirror and check out his fabulous hair. I mean, even in the back to tank, it looks like it's still standing strong. He's got Lego hair.
Lego hair?
Yeah, that shit doesn't move. It's just like a fucking helmet. It's just perfect all the time.
That's true. Yeah.
All right, well, that was it for Question of the Week. Thank you, everybody. Y'all get entries. News, just one item to go over, and that is the Star Wars movie marathon. So,
Now, what is this spreadsheet you sent?
I'm going to go over that in a second.
Okay.
We talked about this previously because we were talking about how the Phantom Menace 25th anniversary is this year. They're going to re-release it on May the 4th. So I'm like, cool, I'll go. Even later, they talked about how, the Acolyte, there's going to be like a special look of the Acolyte when you go to watch Phantom Menace. I'm like, sweet, I'm going to that. Then all of a sudden they're like,
let's throw all 9 of them in the theater.
we're just going to give you all fucking 9 episodes, which is a bit much. And you have to sign up for it as a whole. It's like a marathon that you watch 1 through 9.
Oh, really?
And it made me think too, when I heard that, I thought, can I still just watch 1? Or do I have to get a ticket for 1 through 9?
Well, that if you're signing up, that you made me think you had to buy like all that. There's no way. Who's gonna?
No.
First of all, it's impossible probably to sit through all 9 at once, right?
Yeah. It's nearly 24 hours.
Starts at 10:20 p.m.
It ends at
and
8:30.
goes until 5:55 p.m. the next day.
Well, no, it goes until 8:30. Look at the end time.
Oh yeah, it goes until, you're right. The last starting.
So what I included here was this is from one theater that I saw this ad for when I was popping up looking for like what theaters it's in and all this stuff.
Okay.
They put a full schedule out, and it starts on the 3rd, the night of the 3rd, late, and runs through the fourth. And yeah, so it's like you watch the first 3, then you have like a 25-minute break for breakfast. Then you watch the next 3 and you have a 25-minute break for lunch. You watch 2 more, dinner break, and then watch the last one. All told, you're there 22 hours. That is a bad idea.
They don't even got bathroom breaks in here.
No, I think they say you get 5 minutes between each movie.
Well, no, because the one ends at 5:25 a.m. The next one, the
shit.
breakfast starts then. Okay, so
The mad rush to the bathroom during the credits is going
4
to be
minutes.
something else.
You get 4 minutes for one of them. 6 minutes. 16.
Don't eat like chili or anything.
Right.
I could have missed a lot. I just thought that was wild. Could you do it?
I've sat through. I went through a marathon before with the special edition. All 3 of them.
3.
I don't know if I'd want to. Yeah, the original 3. I don't know if I'd want to sit any longer than that. I mean, that was pretty cool to do.
Yeah.
Like a whole, like I didn't know if people, it was like a whole row of us.
Nice.
You know, and we were like just 17, 18 somewhere. We were driving. We're on our own. You know, so we're being dicks in the theater the whole time. It was fun. But I don't know if I would. I'd pick different movies. I'd leave and come back for different ones, I think.
I think that would be so difficult to do. Like you said, one trilogy is one thing, but to try to do 3 in a row, oh man, that is horrible. I mean, and I'm a Star Wars fan, but I mean, even doing it at my house,
right,
would be tough.
Is this only one day?
It's just the one day. That's it. One shot.
Oh.
One opportunity. Well, I hope anybody who does do it, tweet that out at us. It'd be fun to see your experience, because God bless you if you get through it. That's a tough one. It almost feels like eating the whole steak or whatever. Like you should get free. It should be free if you stay awake the whole time. Yeah, I think you should get it free.
Is there are you paying individually for each movie?
I think you pay for the whole lot.
So it's just a package you're buying.
Yeah.
What was the price on it? Did you see the price?
I didn't see a price.
Okay.
That's a good question. I mean, what would that be? $100?
Yeah. I mean, it better come with like breakfast, lunch, and dinner better be covered, even if it's at the shitty cafe.
Yeah.
See,
I don't think it is. I bet you food's separate.
You get popcorn and pop with it?
Well, most movie theaters with drinks sometimes, but especially popcorn, you buy that big bin, you get free refills as much as you want. So you'd have popcorn all day.
Right.
Oh my God, just think about a butter in your stomach at the end of that.
Oh, you'd be so healthy.
Think about needing a Bacta tank at the end. Oh, well, Godspeed to anyone who does it. Let's move on to the Acolyte trailer.
All right.
So last week we had a trailer that dropped. You were pretty much right. You said March Madness week, and it was that week. It was just a couple days before the actual game started. So I thought we could walk through this a bit. We don't have to get too deep into it, because we're going to get deeper into it for our preview episode, which will be later in May, probably about a week and a half or so before the season starts.
Yeah.
So we'll save a bunch of stuff for that speculation. Not to mention, I don't know anything about these people. Like, I'm watching this trailer.
Yeah.
And all I'm thinking is, I think there's a High Republic character or 2 in there. So some people recognize that, but I haven't really read any of that.
It's the Vanessa Rue.
Yeah, the green
Brow.
The green
right?
person that opens the door with their fingers.
Yeah.
So that's really all. All these things are, and it's cool because I, going into it, know nothing. Mm-hmm. But I'm starting to think like maybe our preview episode for this is just going to be titled,
Do you think they're trying to like pull one over on us because it's like the mystery of these Jedis dying, and we're seeing Mandela Steinberg's character? It looks like she's the villain or the one hunting the Jedi. Do you think there's a different purpose and she's really not the bad one?
I think that's probably true. So there's a lot that's been thrown out from Leslie Headland about how kind of you don't know who's good, who's bad, quote unquote. And also how it's like, it's not what you think it is. Since this is meant to be told from a different perspective, or from a certain point askew.
There we go.
The hashtag copyright. It makes me think, yes, you're going to have the Sith, you're going to have the Jedi, but there's going to be something else at play. Now, one of the characters in this is the Jodie Turner-Smith's character.
Mother Anaisia or something?
Mother Anastasia, I guess.
That's what I said.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, I bet you're wrong. But she's the one, in the trailer, she says something about how it's not about good or bad, it's about power and who is allowed to use it.
Yes.
She's supposed to be some leader of some, like, witches or something.
Yep.
That are not Jedi or Sith.
Right. Or from Dathomar.
Right. Or not Night Sisters either.
Yeah.
The whole new crew.
But there's a thing I saw where she's walking and she's holding her hands out. And isn't there in the High Republic, isn't there a group that are like against the Jedi for using the powers that way or something?
You might be right. This is again where my naivete with the High Republic.
Well, I know
through.
very little about it too. I've read half of a book.
I read half of the first book and I can't really remember it. Yeah.
Right.
There's a ship crashes or gets, there's a tragedy with the ship and all the bits around it. And I didn't finish the book. I need to go back and read that again. It's a great explanation, a great recap, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you're right. I think it's going to be very nebulous at first about who are the baddies in this. I don't know if it'll be that clear or if it ever will be that clear.
Right.
I think it's going to be like different perspectives and you decide who you think's, good and bad.
Did you notice when she's what's her name? Her name's May. When May is walking into the hut, the bar area, looking for Carrie-Anne Moss's character, you see the aliens at the table eating soup.
Yeah.
And it looks like that, is it Scat? What's his name? That John Leguizamo character from Ice Age. It looks like he's sitting at the table eating. It looks just like it. I was like, wait a minute. I had to watch it twice.
They've got a lot of that going on. I mean, it looks like there's something that just keeps getting done more and more. It must be one of those things where you're a creator in the Star Wars world and everybody just keeps going back to the cantina. I mean, something we're going to see in Bad Batch here when we get into that too.
Yes.
But it's like, everybody just keeps going, who's that guy in the back corner?
Yeah.
I'm making a character out of that,
Make it work. Yep.
Like the fact that Lucas had so much variety of characters in one scene that most of them were 1 second throwaway cuts.
Yeah. Yep.
And they've made all these characters out of it. It's pretty crazy.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the bottom line is it's obviously, it starts out with Master Soul is his name. That's Lee Jung-jae, who's teaching these younglings and they're, kind of, what do you see? And you get the whole Obi-Wan line, your eyes can deceive you. And that's when somebody who I'm assuming we're meant to believe is May says, I see fire.
Yeah. Well, and then later on, she's running through the forest that's on fire.
Yes, true.
So to me, she's predicting she can see something the others can't because they're already clouded, right? Mm-hmm. And I wonder if this ties back to the temple is over a Sith.
Oh, uh-huh.
Whatever, right? So it's kind of already there.
Yes.
And they can't see what's happening. And for whatever reason, I don't know if she's chosen, she's whatever, but that leads me to believe like either she's outcast later on, right? And she really is like this villain going around, or she's been kind of like the Dark Disciple. You're far enough into that where like you realize like Yoda Obi-Wan has the idea of we're going to send in an assassin, right?
Yes.
This is the first time they've agreed to do this. And I wonder if she's kind of the same thing. And we're seeing like Carrie-Anne Moss, we're going to believe she's good, right? They even tell us she's Jedi Master, whatever. But I'm wondering if she's going, but like there's a line of evildoers, right? Not Sith, but like dark or whatever. I don't know. I'm just kind of trying to pick at something.
Right, or people abusing the Jedi power. Hey, I'm a master Jedi, but I can bend it to my own will and make it work for me. Mm-hmm. So it's using their Jedi training but bending it for their own power. Right. I don't know. I mean, there's so much to be done there, and I think that you're right. I think that Amanda's character is going to be one that is going to divvy back and forth between what. Because they're saying it's the height of the Jedi power. Like this is as powerful as they've been, High Republic into this era. Mm-hmm. And so they think they could do no wrong. This is why that one guy, what was his name? Yord Fandar. What a fucking Star Wars name. Where he says someone's killing Jedi, and
I think he's the Acolyte.
You do?
Yeah.
Him. He's supposed to be the by the book Jedi nerd.
Of course, that's the bio, right? But if they're going to spin everything on us, that's my and to me, I guess I'm saying this just to be like it'd be an interesting way because if they're going to tell you a mystery, I also want I want everything to be flipped on its head, right? Like
sure.
we're not seeing what we think we're seeing. Mm-hmm. I think that's kind of, and Leslie Hell is pretty smart. I feel like she's going to kind of do that double twist thing on us.
That's what everybody's been trying to speculate on is who is the Acolyte? Who is the actual person? Is it?
Because it shows her at the end, where's she on? Hachu? Bless you. Right? It looks like that's where she's at. And you see the shadowed figure on the cliffs, the rocks.
Is that where they're supposed to be? Octo or Actu?
I don't know. It looks very, very similar to that. And it'd be a smart tie-in to what that represents, right?
Right. Yeah. And I think she said this is from all the footage we saw in the trailers from like the first 4 or 5 episodes, as they always do. Okay. So like, Yoda's probably going to show up. Let's just be real.
Oh, sure.
But it's going to be later. Or it's something that they're kind of hiding for now.
Right.
What else? I was trying to think if there's anything else big I wanted to cover on that. Not really. I mean, it was, like I said, it was so, there's so many comments and so much action and so many characters we don't know. It's just hard to make sense of it other than just the general themes, which I think is what you're touching on, which is who the hell is really good and bad? Is it just a real like fine line between those things? And then who is the actual Acolyte?
What do you think of that last shot?
With
that last sequence
where they all get their sabers out and then get fucking blown back.
Yeah,
I know that was the one I think where it happened, because this is basically the same trailer they showed at Celebration. I think it's almost the same, exactly the same. And I think that was a shot where everybody fucking blew their saber all over the goddamn guy in front of them. You know, they were like, "Oh my god!" Like 8 people holding sabers.
That was a pretty cool shot.
It is a cool shot.
Because you're up against something pretty goddamn powerful when you're wiping, was there 8 or 9 people there?
Something like that. And you see there's that point where, what's the gal's name? I wrote it down, and her name is Jackie Lawn, another great Star Wars name. That's Daphne Keane. She was the one who was, I can't remember what that character's called.
She was X-23 in Logan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. She's the one who's like, what is that? And then they see that red saber come slicing through the trees, and it goes to somebody's hand. So there's some fun stuff that's to be had in this
Did you also notice the shot with looks like there's about 8 or 9 of them? Not sure if it's the same group that get blown away, but there's looks like Plo Koon is at the far right of it. At least that race.
Where they're looking into the forest.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it does look like him. Some people have thought, is that a young Plo Koon? Mm-hmm. Could be. I don't know his age stats, so I can't speak to that. But then you also got to see Jonas, the guy who played Chewbacca, is playing what's the guy's name?
Kalnaka.
Yeah, I think you're right. Look at you, Kelnaka. Good job. See, this guy came prepared.
I may have wrote a few things down.
Give him a week off, and this guy's ready to rock.
Yeah.
He's described as a loner. Aw.
Yeah, they say like he lives in the forest by himself, right?
See, that could be kind of
so he's already gone the way of the Jedi. Like he's to the point where he's like, yeah, I disavow all of this. I'm pissed off at it,
or he's a creep. Fucking is a peeping Chewie, peeping Tom.
He's the
Wookiee.
P Diddy of the.
Oh, ouch. Well, looking forward to it. It was a cool teaser. I'm excited to see what they're going to show us in that first look here in a few weeks. Or I guess it's a month now. But yeah, I can't wait for the series. It looks exciting. Like I said, just not knowing it sounds like it's going in a totally different direction from anything we've done before or seen before.
Yeah,
we've done, because we've done it. But also just so many people we don't know. So it's just wide open. I
saw something the other day and I didn't get a chance to look up. I follow through with it, but it's hit me right now. I saw someone post that they had just read that the Acolyte will only be 1 season. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Right. So there was talk that Leslie Headland said she had all these ideas for season 2, that there were a lot of things that are left open in season 1, and that they could bring it together pretty quickly. But I think they wanted to see how people reacted to the first season before they really jumped into it. But then I think it was, oh God, what's her name? It's the gal, we've talked to her on Twitter a bunch. She does a YouTube show, something in cosmetics. I'm forgetting her name. Anyway, she's the one who threw it out. It was a link from something. I think I think she might have been the one that posted it about being only 1 season. Yes. So she found it as like a news item. I looked it up. It was one of those, what's that service called? That site that's like, it's something related to Disney. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, they had this quote that's saying they think that it's only going to be 1 season. That basically they decided, this is it, 1 season only, we're done. I don't see that as happening unless this thing just monumentally flops. Right. Like they're not going to go this far back to tell a story for 1 season where they put all this money into the High Republic for 3 years now, all these books and everything, and this is the first thing other than the kid cartoon that you're going to get. I can see it being, well, let's see where it goes before we just jump into season 2, and that might be just because of the way Disney's restructuring things right now. So they're being a little bit more careful on, instead of just throwing money and getting shit on the screen and it's not any good. But this looks pretty good. And there's the line in the what's his face says, I forget his name, the Jedi Master, right? Where in the first episode where he says Master Soul. Oh, are you talking about from the Acolyte? No, well, in the episode 1 where he says that the Sith are all dead or something, right? And then it goes back and it goes back and they say something in this and everyone's throwing a fit like, well, the Sith can't be around then, or I'm like, that's from a different point of view, right? Like, stop taking everything so seriously. And also, when he says that, he was wrong then, because we got fucking Palpatine hiding in the wings and we got Darth Maul running around.
It was Ki-Adi-Mundi, that guy with like the big pointy head.
Yes.
He says they're all extinct and have been for like 100 years or something like that. So, I mean, granted, when he says that, this show is taking place 100 years before Phantom Menace.
Yeah. There you go. There's your
so
line.
I don't know. Maybe he's right. I don't know. Can't wait. Looking forward to it. All right, let's move on to the Bad Batch. So before we get into it, I will just address the elephant in the room, and that is Jay's audio issues last week.
Oh, that wasn't my idea. Come on, now.
It wasn't your idea. It was a fluke. What happened? Something.
Oh, I thought you were referring to the audio issues where it kept breaking up with you, not to the fact that the card took a shit.
The breaking up was my fault. The issues was that in the conversion to the computer, half of the thing dropped. What was so weird about it, was that it literally cut at the moment that we were stopped on episode 6 and went to episode 7. It was almost like your computer's like, no more.
Yeah, it's so fucking weird.
Good timing though, is that where it made it easier to edit.
We found the rest of it.
So I will pull that together. Hopefully have that out by the time that this episode airs as well. But yeah, I'll go back and recut that. It also includes a couple Maul Bags from Max Rebo, so we'll put those in there. We won't be addressing those today because they're part of that already. So we'll get to that. But on to the current Bad Batch, or at least the last 2 episodes. We start with Bad Territory.
Swamp Dads.
Swamp Dads. That's a good show name. We're back on Pabu, and Omega's, itching to do something. She's feeling real guilty about all those clones that died protecting her. She feels really bad about it. And Crosshair and Hunter are both like, you need to lay low. Like, you trying to go out and help and do things is just exposing more people. So let's keep it quiet for a while. Mm-hmm. And then Fee dials them up on the holo, and she says she's learned that the Empire's sending out these bounties, these top-level bounty hunters to round up M-count targets. And she's not sure what the amount of times people are going, it must be something about the M-count. Do you know about the M-count?
Yeah.
This is the M-count? What's the M-count? I mean, it's been going on for 2 episodes. It's like almost annoying.
I bet you Tech would know.
Right. How is that not in his fucking data file somehow?
Right.
They find shit about Asajj later. I don't know.
Yeah. They got Pale Dominatrix.
Yes. What he typed in? He just took a picture of her and it just did a facial recognition.
Go. Yeah, it was a
selfie. Used to have hair.
Reverse image.
Yeah, she was bald before. Not sure what happened there. So yeah, Hunter and Wrecker decide, hey, we're gonna go talk to Fennec Shand. We're gonna do that. And he's like, of course, Omega's like, God damn it, I gotta go with you. And he's like, no.
Yeah.
And I like how he gives her a job. He's like, you need to work on Crosshair because we're all seeing the tremors. It ain't good.
Yeah, he speaks to her heart. Like, she's like, well, then she's good to not go. She's like, yeah, I really do got to spend a little time with him. I think I'll teach him to meditate.
Well, she doesn't like to sit on her hands. She's a very active gal, and she wants to get out there and do something. So if he gives her a job, she's like, cool, I'll do it, Yep. And it's, better job than like, wax the Marauder. I guess they had to use a Marauder. That doesn't work. So they track Fennec down at the space station. I don't know what the name of it is.
Cool looking, though.
It's real cool looking. She's just chilling in a cantina, talking to a Rhodian about a job,
Yeah.
And it's a rough place because we see an Aqualish get into it with a Pantoran, and the Pantoran just smokes him right in the front of Fennec, like almost hits Fennec.
Oh, right. Yes. Oh, this is the fight that breaks out, and the droid takes a bottle of Spotchka or something and bops the
bam right over the head.
But was it in the bar or outside the bar? This is when they're walking down the road. That's where you see the sign that has the blurg burger. It's like a neon sign, and it looks like a bun with a blurg inside of it with like an X'd out eyeball, and then the bottom bun.
Oh, that's where you got your blurg burger comment. I didn't know that. I didn't catch that. It was a cool shot though.
Yes.
I love these types of environments in Star Wars, like kind of the underbelly, kind of seedy areas.
Right.
And then you saw like one dude gets tossed by one of the droids for being too drunk or something. He gets tossed out right before they go in. So a fun little environment here. And I love it because the second he knocks that Pantoran on the head, music's right back on. Just right back to it.
Yep.
Hunter tells her about the Empire putting out these bounties, and she's like, well, I haven't done a job like that, but I know somebody who has. She says, but to get into contact with them, she'll need a crew to bring in this tricky bounty she's been dealing with called Siler Saris. And she's like, and if we get them, I get to keep all the money, and all I'm going to do is give you the information. So it's the standard Bad Batch tit for tat.
Yeah. But the point of it is they can't pay the amount that it would cost for this information, which is really just her tricking them into going on this run with her. Yeah.
It wouldn't matter how much money they had.
Right.
Although later it's funny because she does say, when they said money, there's more to life than money or whatever, she said, that's because you don't have any.
Yes. Yes.
Low blow. So this dude's name is Siler Saris, who is the slayer of Ordo Eris. He got this nickname because he whacked some crime bosses for the Haxian Brood. Now the Haxian Brood is a syndicate that shows up in Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
So fun little reference there. He is a Yamri. I had to look that up, which we actually saw one in A New Hope in the cantina.
He's the praying mantis.
Yeah, he's the praying mantis. Exactly. Yeah. So they arrive on this new planet that we'll call Floritoxic. I don't know. What do you want to call it? Where Fennec rents a fishing boat from some pit droids. And I mean, seriously, this reminded me, I did an airboat tour while I was down in Florida, and it kind of reminded me a little bit like that. Although I guess it's more like Bayou-esque, so maybe it's more like Louisiana than Florida. So what would you call it? So like Fumiziana. Or Floritoxic. Floritoxic works better. Either way, it looks like a hot, muggy place with shit in the water.
Yeah, this is not a place that, like, even I don't think that praying mantis guy, like, this isn't like a place he's enjoying.
I don't think so. He's just doing it because he can hide out.
Yeah.
Because there's gators in those waters.
Mm-hmm. Be careful, they bite.
Hunter spots some mines in the water, so he and Wrecker disarm them one by one, which takes a long time.
Yeah, and they were real willing to do it.
Yes,
basically,
they were.
Like, tosses their asses in there and tells them, get to it.
Yeah, get in the water. I thought you said you don't go in the water. I don't.
Yeah, that's what she says.
It was fun, though, that they actually had a world where they're like, you got to wear your helmet, man.
Right.
You can't just walk around and breathe freely. It's not a cool 70 degrees and perfectly good oxygen everywhere we go.
Poisonous air right here.
Yeah. We've literally been on the moon of some planet, and it would look like the moon and
without
no problem.
a helmet on. Yeah.
Don't let that shit get in the way of a good
Although
story.
maybe next time when they decide to put them on a planet like this, they render the coloring a little differently so you can actually see what the hell's going on.
Oh my God. So difficult.
Yes.
I mean, I was watching it on just like my computer monitor at home. First I watched it on my phone on the plane. Couldn't see shit. Then I watched it on my monitor when I got home. And I was like, good God. I was had to like squint. It's so dark.
Yes, it is. There were parts of it you couldn't see shit.
Very dark. They're disarming these bombs or these mines. And as they're wrapping up, here come the goddamn gators. And one of them pulls Hunter into the water, but Wrecker goes like Happy Gilmore on him and fucking beats him up. And they get back on the boat and start cruising out there. The gators are still coming.
Yep.
You know, and they're just relentless. They eventually fend them off. Now, it was funny too when I thought about this because I'm watching this and all they're talking about is how the mines are this way. This must be the right place. Like, we don't want to go around. We want to sneak up behind. Then they have a fucking open gunfight that anybody could hear from miles around with the gators.
Oh, right. Yes. Yes.
And they're just blasting everything.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
But, you know, whatever. I'm sure Siler didn't hear it.
They're miles away. No, he's got really bad ears.
There you go. Meanwhile, back on Pabu, AZ's looking at Crosshair's hand, and he's like, so I think this might be in your head. I think you got some PTSD problems.
Psychological things going on here.
Yeah, he ain't trying to hear that. I mean, this guy wants nothing to do with therapy. He is not going to see a shrink.
Right. No, he's old school. He's old school Nam. When you come back from the war, you don't talk about the war.
Don't talk about the war. No, nobody would understand. And all that Tantus mess is buried deep in his subconscious, and that's where he wants to keep it.
Yep.
Later, he's doing target practice and failing miserably.
Is this where where AZ is holding the fruit?
No, that was
That's
previous.
the beginning, right?
Yeah, this is just fruit just sitting on a rock.
Yeah,
AZ's like, I'm done because until you're going to fix your arm, I'm not holding fruit up for you anymore. I'm not going to be your, William Tell or whatever. Yeah. So Omega's trying to make him feel better. Like, oh, that was close, but he's like, dude, he's going through an identity crisis. He's like, I'm literally a fucking sniper. If I can't snipe, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah, he's going to have to put that, he's going to have to, throw on a little Nirvana album and show himself up to the attic.
Oh, boo. So somehow she, in the end, convinces him to do like hot yoga to free his mind, which I thought that was impressive. Because it's funny because, well, a couple things. One, he says to her, "Where'd you learn this meditation?" Mm-hmm. And she said, "Oh, I learned it from Gunji and the other Wookiees on Kashyyyk." And he's like, "You've been to Kashyyyk?" And then she says, "You've missed a lot."
Right. But Gunji is a what?
A Wookiee, a true
And-
Jedi.
Right.
Yes.
And this
Oh
is...
no, this is tapping into Jedi stuff for
Right.
sure.
Yeah.
But I love how she says you missed a lot, and he's like, I know. It was a little bit of a downer moment there. He's like, fuck, why did I stick around with those losers for so long? And also, you know, as much as they're trying to like I spend a lot of time working on his mental health and him getting in the right headspace, I think it's totally worth it because to me, he has been the most intriguing character on this show, I think, Crosshair. So the more time we're spending with him to kind of get into his mindset, and
Right.
watch him grow and change and do different things, I'm all for it.
Do you think they're pulling the whole thing they did with Tech last year where they spent so much time with him just for us to care for him to die?
100%.
Yeah.
He is due to die for sure. It is going to be another emotional blow.
Yeah.
You know, you want to talk about mental health and trauma. Omega's going to need a shrink when this is all done because
Right.
she's losing a lot of people. She went from being on her own, having kind of Nala say as this, you know, sort of motherly character to jumping in with these dudes who are
To
kind of her
wanting to
brothers.
belong to these clones and no one
Yep.
accepting her. Yeah.
Yep. And then getting in with them, because
Mhm.
you know, establishing relationships only to watch them all die one by one.
Right. And if it goes the way of the Jedi, like we'll talk about in the next episode a minute, you know, like that's kind of the thing, right? You're ripped away from your parents at your youth, which I tend to believe, I think that you're going to lose Crosshair, right? But she's going to have to decide, which is going to be heartbreaking for both, because we were thinking they all die. The dad batch dies, right? But I'm leaning on the fence now where you're going to have that trauma of one, but then there's the two left, right? There's Wrecker and Hunter, and she's going to have to decide.
Which one she goes with?
So, right, well, yeah. They're
choose.
divorcing, and she's got to
Yeah.
pick a dad. Wrecker's definitely the weekend dad. He's the fun dad, right?
He is the fun dad.
Yeah,
Hunter's the more
he's
serious
the dad
one.
that's going to take you to the amusement park,
Right.
go have fun with you, and then you got to go home back to Hunter and do your homework.
Exactly.
Make something of yourself.
Hunter's gonna make you. Yeah, you're gonna have more success in life with Hunter as your dad, but you're
Yeah.
also gonna be bored to tears. You need that release that Wrecker
Right.
provides.
Yes.
I agree, especially as we get into this second episode here in a second, where Asajj basically says if she wants to go off and train and become a Jedi, she needs to leave you, and
Yes.
that's going to be a tough thing for her, a decision for her to make. So, back on Floritoxic, Fennec is like kind of probing these guys for info. You know, she's like starting to put pieces together because she says, "You guys are so willing to do this job for me to like in the name of finding out about these M count bounties, but yet you're always so like." Driven by protecting Omega, so those two seem to connect a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right.
So she's kind of figuring that out. That's where she also reveals that she let Omega go. That Nala say, she doesn't say who, but the client said, I think they'll be safer with the Bad Batch.
Mhm.
So not kill the bounty, nix the bounty.
Boy, it's a good thing she didn't hear that the wrong way. Kill the bounty.
Like a choppy hollow call. The bounty. Okay.
Season 1 over.
Done. Dead. Could you imagine how people react to that? They killed the kid?
Yeah,
Oh,
no shit.
Jesus Christ. And a fun reminder here, Fennec is really leaning into the whole like, you know, good guys, bad guys, their money all spends kind of thing. Like
Yes.
money is my driver.
Yep.
That's what I'm motivated by. And that's like I mentioned earlier where Hunter goes, you know, money isn't everything. She's like, yeah, you don't have any.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to have like the moral code that she kind of has by the time we get to her in the book of Boba Fett.
Which makes sense. I mean, that's basically Din Djarin's journey. He doesn't have a moral code per se.
Right.
And he develops it as he goes.
Mhm.
It's those kids, man. The kids fuck
It'll
you up.
get you every time.
Yeah.
You
goddamn
love them,
kids.
but man, do they break you.
They do break you every time.
Financially, mentally.
very much both of those. So they're cruising down the river there. They kill the headlights as they come upon Siler's hideout, and Hunter and Wrecker head in. This is where it gets real dark and it's hard to see what the fuck's going on. Because there's like it looks like a trap door that they keep rolling around, but none of them fall in, and eventually Siler goes down it. It was just hard to see what was going on. See, he gets jumped by Siler, and he and Wrecker like kind of manage to fight him off, but he slips away. And then he tries to get back to his boat, and he realizes, oh, she cut the cords. God damn it.
But see, do you think this was her plan the whole time? This is why she brought them, right? Because she knew if they went in there and he got away, she could be waiting at the boat for him.
Mhm.
And then she cut the wires, leading him to her boat, and then, haha, gotcha.
Master plan.
Yeah.
Yes.
Smart bounty hunter.
Yeah, and I was at first you're thinking, now why did she miss with the stun gun? Because it was a little too easy for him to dodge that maneuver.
Yeah.
And she's fucking, she's a killer. But I don't know. Somehow he manages to kind of slip away. Wrecker Wrecker tackles him, and he literally pukes in his face.
Yeah, he does.
I
Do
love
you think
that.
like they should have went like old school George Lucas and just straight up went racism and gave this guy like a Louisiana like
Oh, there you go.
inflection, you know, like
You guys come down here on the
Yeah.
bayou? Remember the time that Siler killed both Hunter and Wrecker? Remember that?
they should have like
Anyway.
really went the wrong way and had Van Damme voice him from Broken Arrow or Hard
Oh,
Target.
boy.
Hard
Hard
Target.
Target.
Yeah.
Broken Arrow is, yeah.
Where he
different.
just couldn't do the voice, but he was
Or literally have Bobby Boucher show up, Waterboy style.
Yeah.
That would be great. Anyway, they're able to stun him. And then finally we see Fennec drop Hunter and Wrecker off at the space station. And she's like, once I deliver him, I'll get back to you with the information I owe you. And they're like, dude, they're so bad at sticking to anything.
That's that my issue with this episode and even the next. Like, it makes sense what they do with the fight, but it shows like this guy he's wanted and good at his job, right? If he can kind of take these two to task, but there's no way this skinny green fuck can take on Wrecker.
Right.
Even the muscle Wrecker, because he's the one that gets spit on, right?
Yes, right in the face.
Yeah, he doesn't need to see. He like a Wookiee. He should have just ripped his freaking arms out of his side.
But he doesn't want to rip him out because she wants him alive.
Okay,
So he's got to capture him. My contention was more with just the fact that Wrecker and Hunter are like, they wait till we're dropping him off at the space station. And they're like, okay, where's that info? They wait till then.
Yeah,
And she's like, yeah, I'll get back to you. And they're like,
Right.
okay.
you got to trust me.
These guys suck. Again, they've always been bad at negotiation. Hunter the worst. The whole time Wrecker's like, I think you want
We're
to
gonna
get
find
the
out
info
like
now.
down the line, like it goes. Bad Batch teaches Omega. Omega runs into whether she runs into Boba Fett or not, but it ends up like at some point she runs into Mandalorian, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh, right.
like the bad negotiation tactics just
Yes.
carry on from all because of them.
It all stems from that. Yes. I'm not going to give you what you want. I'm going to give you a third of what you want.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Shit. Have some backbone, guys. As she drops him off, says she'll get the info to him, and she flies away. And then she dials up someone on the holo and says, there's some clones asking about M-count bounties. And she said, quote, I'm sure you can track them down. I'll send you what I have. And of course, we find out about, who that is in the next episode. But
Dun, dun, dun.
at the time, who'd you think it was? Did you think it was
Asajj.
You thought it was Asajj?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
kind of
don't know
figured
the
that.
link. I'm curious what the link is between the two of them, but it just seemed like I didn't think there was going to be another middle person before we got to Asajj, so it all just kind of made sense.
It was almost like a timing thing. Like we got to get to her soon.
Right.
The Cad Bane would have been the other one, of course, people thought of, I think. Some people thought of Boba too, but I think Cad Bane made sense just because he literally was hired to find Force-sensitive children before,
Right.
so it would make
Yeah.
sense. But and they have a relationship, even though it was a contentious one.
No, Cad Bane is in the original trailer, right?
He is.
So we're still to see him.
We will see him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I
Thank
think
you.
soon. Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
Mm-hmm.
My sources say
Seen it.
yes. Anything else in episode 8, or we can move on to 9?
Move on.
The Harbinger. By the way, I wanted to say off the top, they've really opened up the wardrobe for Omega, and I'm really happy about it. You
Right.
watch animated shows, and I mean, Shaggy had to wear that goddamn green shirt his entire life.
Yep.
And it's
Yep.
true of everybody. Fred with that fucking ascot or whatever the hell that is. Anyway, that is where they're stuck in. But they allow her to change her clothes quite often. It's really worked out well.
Isn't the chest piece that Hunter has on different in this episode?
It was. You're right. At the
Okay,
very
it was
beginning.
like green or something, and it looked different than the one he's worn before.
Not the full armor. I'm talking about. Are you talking about the armor? I was talking about what he was wearing outside the armor, inside the armor. Essentially, when he had the
Yeah.
armor off at the beginning of the episode, I was like, "What the fuck is he wearing?"
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I guess he got a little new piece there too. I mean, the only person you ever really saw change clothes in animation was like Padme Amidala. Always a new outfit.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So we begin again on Pabu, where Hunter is saying like, "We gotta wait to hear back from Fennec," and they're all pressing him like, "Dude, fucking show us some balls here. Like, you gotta push this." No, we'll wait. It's fine. We got nothing else we can do.
Crosshair's busy like helping the community out.
He is with the fishing.
You know,
I like how Wrecker's getting him shit about it. Oh, you got a new buddy? He's like, "Fuck you." He doesn't say "fuck you," but the grunt is basically "fuck you." Crosshair brings up the point. He's like, "We're not going to give her up anyway, so why do we care?" And he's like, "Well, because if we know what's coming after, we'll be better prepared to deal with it." which makes sense.
Yeah.
Omega is playing fetch on the beach with Batcher, literally. They come across this cave that apparently they've been in before, but Batcher's all worked up. He's in a frenzy.
Right.
And Omega's like, okay, we'll take a look. And
I love how she just happens to fucking come across this cave that Asajj is hiding in. Now,
yeah.
Is it maybe the Force is reaching out to her and she doesn't know this?
It could be.
You know?
Or is it Asajj coaxing a living being, Batcher, to come to the cave to bring her to the cave?
There you go.
Because she does do that later.
I'll work with that, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
It's too convenient otherwise.
Yeah. I mean, thematically, the whole episode makes sense with it taking place in a cave, though.
How so?
Well, the training, like even
sure.
Luke going down to the fucking cave in Dagobah, or the Luke training Rey, and it just kind of all works. The golden sun behind them. I mean,
that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely the same. She finds Asajj's ship. Asajj walks up behind her, scares the living shit out of her.
Yep.
So the batch notice that Batcher's freaking out. They go check it out. They find Asajj pulling her out. And she explains that, hey, Fennec sent me. And she tells them basically how stupid they are to poke around asking about M-count bounties because they're just going to draw attention to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
She gets into the explanation of M-count levels. And
she actually says metachlorine.
She does say it later, yes.
Yeah.
And none of them even repeat that, like, oh, that's what it stands for.
Right. Yeah,
they don't
true.
register that.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, M-count.
M-count, okay. So she's saying, obviously higher count, easier to, use the Force, etc. But like it doesn't make you a Jedi. That requires training. Right. And she says, having a high M count means the Empire will hunt you down. She reiterates this later. And I love it because she's like, so anyway, there you go. Bob's your uncle. I'm out of here. Bye.
It's like, wait a minute here.
That was it. That was all she was going to do. And Omega's going, hey, not so fast. We need to know. I want to know what I am. Like, I need to figure this out so I know why they're coming after me. And she says, well, I would have to test your midichlorian levels. Now, did you originally think when this happened, she's going to have one of those Qui-Gon things where she pricks her? Like
yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't think she was going to go straight to let's do the Jedi test here.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to do a 3-legged race.
Yeah, we're doing old school.
Egg toss.
Yeah.
Soft hands.
Bob is your uncle.
So the first test is her standing on one leg, crane technique, and balancing a piece of fruit on her head while standing on a slippery rock by the sea. That's test number 1. She's just making this shit up on the fly.
And it's enough to frustrate her. Just like Luke, anything. This isn't gonna work. This is stupid.
Right. Trying to raise rocks and shit and do all that stuff. Doesn't work.
Yep.
Yeah. It's really a test just to see if she can block out the noise and focus and stay in control of her body and all that stuff. But Omega doesn't really get it. And I loved the fucking fact that while she's doing it, Wrecker's going, "You can do it."
He's like a bleacher dad.
Total bleacher dad. 100%. You're distracting me, Dad.
Yep.
And the look on her face, Asajj, which looks back like, we need to get your dad out here.
Yes.
That's the look of a coach who's looking at the parents of a kid you're coaching going, would you please shut up? I'm trying to coach your kid.
Read the room, Wrecker.
I know that feeling well. As she just continues to fail over and over and over again, we see Crosshair come up with this data that he found on Tech's files explaining that Asajj Ventress is this former separatist assassin who, let's just say, didn't get along with the clones in the past. Would you say that's fair?
That's fair.
Not a good relationship. Not a very strong relationship.
All right.
So now they really don't trust her. Now they're like, fuck this. But they continue on because they just, bow down to anything Omega wants to do because they spoil her.
Yeah, but she's catching on when she sees them looking at the screen.
True.
And they're like, they start plotting. And I think that was one of the reasons she sends her to the weeping. She's like, I'm going to deal with these dads real quick here.
That's a good point.
I'm going to put them in timeout.
Right, because her second test is for her to go retrieve a white blossom from a tree on top of Pabu and return before sunset, which is like almost time. She thinks it's impossible. She runs off anyway, uses Batcher, gets up there, gets the blossom. On her way there and back, Asajj is like, you guys want to fuck with me? You want to fucking dance? You really want to do this?
It's not going to go well for you. I just want to she's like Captain America in the elevator.
Yes.
Does anybody want to get out before we start?
That's right. They demand she leaves, and she all but says, fuck you. So they attack her. And this whole sequence was great because it was very much like Morpheus fighting Neo in the Matrix.
Right.
One step ahead of you the whole time.
Yeah.
all the like punching and blocking, like the whole time, it's all that she's doing. And she is just working them left, right, and center. But there's even a point where she does some move and she puts her hands out like this, and she doesn't quite do the come get it maneuver that Morpheus does, but it's very, very close. So clearly borrowing from that franchise. So they eventually, after many sequences where she kicks each of their asses individually, they finally get their guns back. And that's when she pulls out the saber and starts, deflecting shit with ease. Yeah. It's so easy for her.
Right.
You realize the Bad Batches are, they're a fucking awesome group of killers, but they don't stand a chance against them.
The first couple shots, she just like dodges. She just like sways a little bit.
Like laughing at them.
Yeah. Taunting them.
Pretty much. And then I love the fact that by the time Omega returns, she walks up, Crosshair's on the ground, like out almost.
Right.
She's got the saber on Hunter, and she's got the force choking Wrecker. And keeps talking the whole time while he's going.
Yep. She's like, well, this is what it's like when mom and dad fight.
Exactly. She'd never seen it, never been privy to it.
Right.
So she's, demands she drops them. All that happens, and they kind of go their separate ways, and then they're back on the ship, and that's when Omega's like, I think we need to give Asajj a chance, because of course she says that, because she always says that. She wants to give everybody a chance.
Yep.
And so she's like, okay, I'm going to go talk to Asajj. She doesn't realize it, but she's going to get her final test. They get in the boat, head out to sea. I like the fact that she says, stop smiling. It's unsettling.
Yes.
A great line. Asajj explains how, hey, most people connected, or some people connected to the Force can connect with natural beings. So she's like, so go do this. Go stand up there and connect with the fish. I love the fact that as she's doing it, they're all watching her from above, from Pabu. And you get that moment where he zooms in on Asajj and she turns and
looks. He's like, oh.
He clutches his pearls.
How does she know?
I mean, that face, looking at you on that zoom.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, God.
That Crosshair's watching through the scope of his gun.
I know. Oh, that's fucking funny.
Which is funny because it's the same thing. There was the same shot when they first brought Crosshairs there. And Hunter and Wrecker are watching the two of them down there.
Yeah.
And he fucking looks over at him. He's like, you always got to know who's watching you.
Yeah. Yep. So she, at some point, Omega's like, she's not doing well with it. And she's just like, fuck this. This is stupid. This is not going to work. And she goes, and you couldn't even do it. Kind of says something along those lines. Like, you don't even know what I'm trying to do here. She's like, oh, yeah? Well, so she gets up there. She starts bringing like a whole school of fish flying around the boat. She's like, that's pretty sweet. And then, oops, also woke up the sea monster.
Yeah. Now, real quick, the school of fish that come through, are they illuminated because that's their color and it looks like he's got a green mustache from eating them things? Or is that from her Night Sister magic Jedi?
Ooh, good question. I didn't think about that. I assumed it was their natural color. Mm-hmm. And I didn't think about the fact that that's because he's eating them. That's a good shot. I wasn't even thinking about that. But the Night Sister shit is green.
Right.
Oh, man, that's a good question. We'll leave that out there for everybody to consider.
All right.
Hot take. Hot take number 9 today. So the sea monster shows up, dumps them in the water. And I love it because first we get to see Asajj with like her bangs down because the water's, got her hair all wet. And then later when she goes in after Omega, who's getting pulled in by the monster, while she's swimming through, she looks like, I can't remember if it's called a tigerfish or a lionfish where they have that big spike. You almost look like Liberty spikes.
That fin. Yeah.
Yeah. Looked awesome.
Yeah.
She looks hilarious underwater.
Now, does this remind you of go back to the Dark Disciple when she is teaching Quinlan Voss, where he's got to use the dark side and kill that monster, right? It's very reminiscent of that, only this time she does the exact opposite. She uses the Force and kind of speaks to it and calm it, which shows that she's changed.
Yeah, because the whole inner dialogue for Quinlan when that's happening in the book is that he's like, I can't do it. Why would I do this? I shouldn't kill this thing.
This
it doesn't
is a
deserve
living
it.
thing. Right, yeah.
Yep. So he changes a little bit after that, though.
Yeah.
Then so she gets Omega back because Omega gets grabbed by the monster, and then that's when, like you said, well, first they come down the Marauder and are shooting the damn thing. She's like, would you tell those idiots to stop shooting the monster? It's making it way worse. So they get him to stop, and then she kind of calms the thing down, and Omega's impressed, like, okay, I see what you're doing. I get how that works now. I might be on board with what you're teaching me.
She's like, I too like to speak to the animals.
She does.
Yep.
She's been doing that her whole time on the show. We have this sweet moment where the Marauder swoops in and Crosshair hustles out to offer a hand to Omega to help her onto the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also reaches a hand out for Asajj.
Yeah, he's like, will you be my wife?
I don't have a lot of experience with women.
I heard at one time you were bald.
My shot's not so accurate these days,
Right.
if you know what I'm saying, but I think you could help me work it out.
I can still get one across the bow.
I was going to say, for all the people going for the Asajj Crosshair relationship,
Wait, there are? What?
oh yeah.
Oh, shit.
There's of course the second anytime any two people
They're shipping these two characters.
they're
just
already
because
shipping them. There was actually a funny one on Twitter. Somebody called it ass hair. That's pretty good. But
Oh, I'm so fucking jealous I didn't jump on this earlier.
Hashtag ass hair all over the place. I mean, Quinlan Voss is still around, presumably. So
Right.
I think but who knows? She might dabble. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, she strikes me as a woman like, when she's off world, anything can happen.
Yeah. If it happens off world, it stays off world. Don't need to be, sharing rumors and,
Mhm.
gossip about it. And then that was kind of, so that happens. They get on the ship. They end up going back to Pabu, and the batch gather to kind of tell her goodbye. And she tells Omega, I don't think you have a high M count.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh, okay. Well, she's like, well, they're still hunting me. So what the fuck am I supposed to do? She walks off, and then Crosshair and Hunter are both like, you're full of shit. She's like, well,
Right.
what do you mean?
Yeah.
About what?
Crosshair calls her out right away. He's like,
Yeah.
my wife don't lie to me.
I can read you already.
Yeah.
You talk in your sleep.
What's going to happen is they're going to hook up. Oh, no,
Yeah.
that was, I was going to say Tech, but that's, what's her face?
Fee.
Fee, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we thought maybe Fee would in sorrow rush to the arms of Crosshair because they really, need each other. But
By the way, Fee, way to bring them up in the last episode and then show no emotion.
I know. Well, she's gotten over it. She's compartmentalizing.
Okay.
Okay. She's got to do one thing at a time. So she weeps and
Work
and
before
mourns.
feelings.
She mourns in her own way.
Okay.
We don't need
We'll let it slide.
to. Okay. So she basically says, regardless, she would have to be trained. She would have to leave you guys and be trained if she's got a high M count and wants to become a Jedi. So
Right.
you need to be careful what you want me to say here.
Which is foreshadowing. Like,
The second that happens, you're thinking about all those rumors we talked about of those two forming another show or whatever,
Yeah.
running off and doing stuff together. Absolutely. Or at the end of this show, Asajj taking her and they leave.
or I was almost thinking the Ahsoka thing where Ahsoka takes Grogu to Luke, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if Asajj seems to be
The teacher.
has the temperamental to train, but also there's not a lot of people possibly that she knows of that can train her.
Maybe she takes her to Quinlan.
So, that could be okay.
Or she's somehow tied into that whole, whatever it's called, the path.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe she's just a means to get to that,
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. I guess that's kind of it, right? Am I leaving anything else out? She just basically says, get out of Pabu. You guys need to hide. Like, you don't realize how in danger you are here, which is just foreshadowing for Pabu is going to be destroyed soon.
Fuck yeah, it is.
The Empire is just going to keep hunting you. So you better get on the move. You can't stay somewhere too long or you're going to get found. And then we get an interesting bit at the end where Hunter asks her, aren't you worried about the Empire coming after you? And she says, quote, they can try, but I have a few lives left. A nice nod to how the hell she's still alive.
Right.
And it also makes you think, okay, that's going to be explained to us in a future show, Tales of the Sith, whatever spinoff show is the case for Asajj, whatever that is. And Jennifer Corbett said so. Basically said, like, we're going to find out more about how she survived.
It'll be answered later on, yeah.
So that's it. That was the episode. Leads us to what's next. There's a double episode released next week. One is Identity Crisis, which I mentioned earlier when I was referring to Crosshair about his, I'm a sniper. What do I do if I'm not a sniper kind of thing?
Mm-hmm.
That could be part of it, or it could be Omega kind of trying to figure out who the fuck she is now that
Right.
she knows she's got this M count. I'm not sure what that means. And then the next one is Point of No Return. Those are the two episodes coming up. Speculate.
I wonder if the show will cycle from first episode to last and we'll see Kanan again.
Ooh. Like he's the one she gets handed off to?
I don't know. But
or
maybe,
just shows up?
Yeah, maybe they, for whatever reason, they run into him or something like that. And maybe her seeing him and what he does leads her to want to go down that road again.
Right.
or not again, but to make her decision, and then I'm guessing Ventress will come back into play again. But Star Wars likes to do that full circle thing.
Full circle, yeah.
And it would be, I don't think anyone would be expecting that, right?
No.
And he's going to be a little bit older, but this is before Rebels.
Yeah, not that much older. Not that much older. I mean, he'd be like, I don't know what he was supposed to be. I can't remember how old he was supposed to be in the beginning of this show.
Right.
What, like 14, 13?
Yeah.
And so he's probably like 15, 16 now. I mean, not that much time's gone by.
True.
I mean, it's just Omega just let her hair grow out. She just hasn't got a haircut.
How long has it been since even like either the last episode that we saw Asajj Ventress in the Clone Wars or even Dark Disciple to now? What's that? Is that about a decade? Like, where are we at with that?
Oh, you're putting me on the spot because I'm trying to remember what Dark Disciple's era is. It's obviously...
Well, it would be season 8
no.
of the Clone Wars.
Dark Disciple is during the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars. Because Dooku's still around.
Correct. Okay. Yes.
So that would be prior to the beginning of this show.
Yeah, I know, but like how long? What's the gap?
Oh, not much.
Really?
Just a couple of years, really. Well, because the Clone Wars is only like 3 years or something, isn't it? Isn't it like 22 to 19 BBY is the Clone Wars, something like that?
Where are we at with the Bad Batch?
We're probably like 17.
After. Okay, so it was 5 or 6 years.
It also could fast forward. Like it also could, by the end of the show, it could be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
But for now, I think, you're maybe 4 or 5 years at the most from Dark Disciple, something like that. Okay, well, that's it. Any other theories? I guess we got to see Bane at some point. He's got to show up. Will we get a Rex and Echo update at some point? Because they're still. We haven't seen the fucking Empire in 2 episodes.
Right.
We got to see
That's
Hemlock.
got to come back, right? We got to see
Hargrove.
Hargrove. Yep.
He's coming back. I don't know what else. I mean, those titles could mean, especially the second one. I don't know what that means really, but yeah.
Well, the 2 things we haven't seen from the trailer then, because the other one was the crocodile jump from Wrecker that was in the trailer. Yes. We haven't seen Cad Bane, and we haven't seen the shootout thing with the vehicle on the side of the mountain
with Fee.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right.
I'm guessing that's next within the next 2 episodes, right?
I'm trying to think if there's anything else we haven't seen. It feels like we've seen everything else but that. Yeah, I think so.
I think while they're away doing a mission, their little island gets attacked, gets destroyed, or all of those people are taken away, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then they have to go. That pushes them to go. All right, we got to get to Tanis and maybe free the clones, then go free the people, something like that.
Right. Because I mean, our assumption is the last 2 episodes are going to be the full on battle somewhere, whether that's them trying to get to Tanis and battle at Tantis, or just grab people and get them out, or just a battle somewhere else.
But what happens in the end that makes Omega want to pursue becoming a Jedi then?
Well, she's going to lose Crosshair. Tech's already gone. Don't know if she'll lose either of Hunter or Wrecker. Mm-hmm. They might both survive, perhaps. I still think that Echo will survive. We know Rex is going to survive.
Right.
I don't know. I think maybe it's just there's going to be some moment of, not moment of clarity, but like some epiphany she's going to have where she's going to realize that as much as I love these guys, I'm needed elsewhere. I need to go do something else to be battling, to avenge my brothers who died.
There we go.
Maybe.
Which is the Jedi way to avenge.
Yeah, absolutely. Always seeking vengeance. Of course. That's the main driver. Mm-hmm. I killed them all. The men and the women and the children.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the Maul Bag.
Dark Omega.
Maul Bag, email number 1. They're both from Wade, actually. Email number 1, Records of the Republic. Wade says, hello there. Hello there.
Hey.
Hope you guys are doing well. Quick question for you. Have you guys had the opportunity to interview any actors or voice actors? And if so, who is your favorite? If not, who would you like to interview on the podcast or have for a guest, and why? May the force be with you, Wade. Well, we had Christina. She's a voice actress. Not a voice actress in Star Wars. Right? But a voice actress. Mm-hmm. We've had people from Skywalker on.
The sound person.
Yep. We had Ronnie. Yep. She was on. We had our buddy Annalise on, who works there.
Yep.
But that's a great question. And this is one that I will put on Jay's shoulder and plate, whatever you want to call it, because he is the mingler. He is the guy who goes out and finds guests. So I'm going to work on him to do it.
I would love to. We haven't really, and even the little bit, like I brought Christina and then you did the one interview with, what was her name?
Ronnie Brown.
Yeah, which I wasn't there for, but I always love doing those. Like with the 7 Days a Geek, I've done that throughout the years, and those are always entertaining. And it always seems like if you get the right people, they love just staying on and having a good time and talking about, like you hear how passionate they are. And then when you're a geek about it, they don't have a problem sticking around and having a conversation. So it's always a good time.
Yes. There are certain people, I'm sure some are easier to get than others. Some are a little bit more available than others. But like there was, who was it who just had Emily Swallow on the Armor? She's been on a couple shows.
Yep.
And there's a lot of voice talent out there that has gone on and done shows. The gal who plays Hera, the voice actress for Hera, I'm not forgetting her fucking name right now, Vanessa Marshall. I've seen her be on other shows. So I think it's just a matter of reaching out and finding some people to get onto the show. But I think it's worth the effort. And the worst they can do, as you always say, is they could say no.
Say no. Yeah. Maybe we'll pursue that over the summer.
I think we should. Do you think we should tell them to have a listen to our episode before, or just say, oh, yo, we do a huge Star Wars podcast. You should be on. Or will they listen to one of our episodes and go, the fuck are they talking about?
Well, I always recommend, but a lot of times they don't listen. They just don't have the time for it. They'll just come on and they don't give a shit. You know, they're promoting their stuff. And
well, and even if you do, like I like to do is do like a 20, 30, 40-minute episode or whatever, interview, and then wedge it around our other bits, in front and that sounds gross. Wedge it around other bits. Anyway, you know what I'm saying?
Don't send them to listen to this episode.
Make the interview the main part of the story, but that's all they're there for. And I think it's fun. It's with Christina, we had a longer chat. We're going to have another one with her, in the near future. With Ronnie, she was just willing to tell story after story. So she was great. I think our conversation was a good 90 minutes or something. Yeah. And she was like, okay, we're done. So I think a lot of people are willing to have those conversations, especially if you ask interesting questions and not just the textbook, this, and this. I think that's where it's more fun, is when you can reach out and ask different questions that they're not, all getting from everybody else.
Agreed.
We will work on that. Email number 2 from Wade. Do you think there's something going on with these Clone X guys? They can't just be volunteers who believe in the Empire, right? There's got to be something more. Theories, Jay?
I don't know. I mean, we're led to believe that it is, but maybe they've just been, wiped, right? Like that's just what they believe in once again.
Yeah.
They're like the clones before they had the chips taken out, or I think, and there's not that many of them, and we don't really know what else is going on in this whole place.
No, my thought is
they could be zombified.
They could be zombified,
dead, like Universal Soldier.
Yes. Oh, good shout.
Right. And that's why he says, why did you activate me?
Yes, right.
Yeah, I think we're onto something here.
Fuck, I forgot about that movie, Universal Soldier. Holy crap. Is that Dolph Lundgren and Jean-Claude
Van Damme, yeah.
Oh, man. What a show. I think, I think at a minimum, these are clones that have maybe been enhanced with the good parts of the Bad Batch. So the enhanced fighting skills and tracking skills, and clearly sneaky skills, because the clones didn't see that one guy coming at all.
Very, very sneaky stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, I think they've just got all these enhanced skills that make them these trained killers. So that's all I can think of right now. Now, is it something bigger? People were talking about tech and all that shit. I don't think any of that's true, but it seems like they're going to give us more info on those guys. And it could easily be something like with Marok, we always talk about that Marok guy from Ahsoka that ended up being a fucking cloud. Yeah. All the theories, and they just went poof in a green cloud of smoke. I just think they're enhanced clones that are singularly driven, maybe do have some sort of chip type situation where they're just like, this is my mission and nothing will stop me from doing that. But they have these enhancements that make them more dangerous.
Agreed.
What do you think, Wade? Let us know too. You got to tell us your own thoughts.
Or anybody else. Share your thoughts.
Anybody else? All right. Final thing. FACPA Answering Machine. You know who it's from.
Oh, yeah.
He's back.
All right. Cue the rocking chair.
Okay, stop. Ready to go.
Howdy, FACPA crew. Sorry, Pete. Boy, been a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Looking forward to definitely what's coming up. I think you got two or three episodes of season 3 Bad Batch. Looking forward to that. Loads of fun, my opinion.
Fucking A.
To go and...
I'm too distracted. I can't tell what's going on in the background.
Okay, so I dumbed that sound down twice. It was so loud. It sounded like I don't know if he was working a saw or what was fucking going on.
It sounds like he's got a giant parrot in a small cage just chewing on it.
Exactly.
Like,
It was that, or was like, is he sharpening something? Is he
That could
like?
be.
I didn't know what was going on. It was very loud. There's always some noise in the background, whether it be the rocking chair or not.
just make the phone call. God damn it, RFB.
Thinking back to your enhanced rocking chair sounds when he was doing his bit was so funny.
Yeah.
God, that was funny. All right, here we go.
Speak to something that Jay had mentioned, where I wish I could say that I listen to every Star Wars podcast. Not nearly the truth.
There's a lot.
There is a reason for that. It's not my cause. Maybe you can speak on that later.
Ooh, what does that mean?
That's very mysterious.
There are Star Wars shows he can't listen to.
Like he's gotten letters like, do not listen to this
Cease
one.
and desist.
Yeah, he's been told.
This audio should not touch your ears.
Yeah. And then why would you listen? Those are the ones that I would listen to.
Right.
We need more information.
Yes. We're going to have him give us a breakdown of that. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, you two were also wondering if you most definitely do have your own, how did Jason go and say it?
Flavor.
Your own kind of edge on what you do. And
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
Maddie's right. There's one or two or three others out and about in the Star Wars podcast galaxy that are kind of sort of similar to what you do. And Maddie did point out that
RFB, you're no longer allowed to listen to those ones.
We are the only ones.
Yeah.
You can't listen to two that are alike. Doesn't
Yep.
work.
at least one of them's girls. That would be the Most Things Kenobi girls, if my opinion has any weight on it,
Sure.
who are also
I think
weekly in my life.
You mentioned that, right? When I was asking the question, was that the show you told me? And then you told me they were women, and I was like, oh.
There was a couple. Most Things Kenobi, and the other is, and I'm gonna mess it up. The Force. Shit. Sorry, guys. It's something with the Force, and I'm forgetting what the name of it is.
Fappening.
I can't think of it. Force Unleashed? No, it's not it. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I do listen to their show anyway. But Most Things Kenobi actually is one that Rural Farm Boy hooked us up with a while back to say, oh, they're kind of along the lines of the other Podawan Podcast Network podcasts.
Okay.
So they were technically part of that network, whatever the hell it was, for 5 seconds.
Right.
But yeah, it's Lauren and Leanne, and they do have a pretty funny show. So you should definitely listen to them, and they swear freely, and it's great.
I think we're gonna do a team up.
We should have them on for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Library in my playlist. Yeah, you might want to give them girls a listen, Miss Laura and Miss Leanne. And if you shot them out, let them know I sent you their way.
We'll do.
And also looking forward to what all other FACPA shenanigans got coming up. And will absolutely definitely be in my ears. You can count on that. So until the next, boys, for the Empire.
Nope, RFB, you're not allowed to listen to our show anymore. No, I'm just kidding.
Will you add some just aggressive stabbing noises and like a woman screaming?
What is going on back there?
Yeah.
This is how I keep my hands calm.
Like
I listen to you guys and record voicemails.
The only time I kill is when I can't find a show to listen to.
Let that be a lesson to all of you out there. When you take your little breaks,
Yeah.
another person dies.
RFB. Oh, BTK.
Oh, wow. Oh, thank you, RFB, as always.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
Good to hear from you. Hope to hear from you again soon.
Yeah. Yeah. And hopefully in a non-threatening manner. And for that, I have now picked up religion and will be going to church after this podcast. So I want to say thanks, everyone, for listening.
God
And
bless
until
you.
next time.
God
What's
bless
that?
you. I said,
Yeah.
God bless you, and laugh it up, fuzzballs.
We have spoken.